Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's Kinninigan. I took a few days off, and everybody's freaking out. Patrick, some of your wisdom would be refreshing right now. What do I know? I'm just an Irish Catholic goyim. But by the way, we're gonna I'm really gonna Irish Catholic up this video. First of all, um, thanks to Kalina, she sent me some gifts for my birthday, and one of the gifts was she knows what it was. This smell good stuff that I just sprayed after I cleaned. I cleaned today. It's frankincense and myrrh. So my house smells like a Catholic church right now, which is pretty cool. Two, I'm day drinking because I don't give a shit. I have no boss except God, and God invented beer. Actually, beer was invented in Babylon by Nakasi, the Anunnaki. I made a video about the reptilian god of beer. It was Ninkasi. She invented beer in ancient Babylon. It's one good thing the reptilians have done. Oh man, I got a lot of head on that. See, I drink beer from a pint glass, and yeah, I drink malt liquor, Old English 800, and I just screwed that pour up. I got a lot of head on my beer. Not that head's a bad thing, right? Whatever. All right, get your mind out the gutter. And then after I make this video, just to top it off, I'm gonna make some pork hot dogs because that's about all I can afford. Yeah, we're eating hot dogs and drinking malt liquor, and my house smells like frankincense and myrrh. And my cats are happy. They got some new toys. Macy likes her new unicorn toy. She got catnip filled unicorn toy. She's been carrying around the house at night, like she's hunting unicorns. Yeah, it's pretty funny. So oh, the other comment I was going to answer here. What was the word that you used about evil magic? You said trans something. Yeah, trans. You got the magic. We're going to be talking about that. So this is the situation you feel like you're in right now, where you're drowning in information while starving for wisdom, because that basically sums up planet Earth right now, doesn't it? What we're going to do is just have a rant about what is the biggest threat to the well-being of humans on planet Earth right now. It's Zionists, and we're going to be going over a few things here. I'm going to one show you how full of shit Zionists are. They are finally being called out for themselves, and whether well, they're not going to admit it. I'm actually going to show you a well-known Zionist trying to call out the reptilian conspiracy as a QAnon post, and how yeah, I'm about to end that whole man's career, Bill Maher. Um, and then I'm going to show you like what's going on. Like we're just going to talk about how Zionists are losing the narrative, and there's a lot of stuff going on. They're trying the same things over and over, and they keep failing. My whole YouTube feed, every day it's something new. Every week it's a new video game that got screwed up. This week it's Halo and their girl boss man lady that's in the new Halo remake. I know all about it. The Odyssey. I've been seeing videos about how House of the Dragon is a glorified soap opera anymore. There's no sex in the show anymore, and it sucks. And there's whatever. So they screwed up bread and circuses, which is one of the most important things if you want to stay in power. You need to keep the goyim fed, drunk, and entertained. Hence why I'm drinking beer right now, and I'm going to eat hot dogs after this. So now I'm not drunk yet. I literally just cracked this beer open. You know what's strange is the fact that I even have beer in my fridge at this time, because normally when I go buy beer, I drink it till it's done. But the other night I didn't. I actually went to bed before the beer was gone, which was interesting because I normally don't do that. And then I figured out what it was. I was off YouTube for a few days. I was watching Farscape again because I had to remind myself what a good TV show is, what a good sci-fi TV show was. And Farscape is awesome. By the way, it was made by Jim Henson's son, Brian Henson, which is why I love it. No, not a lot of CGI in the show, a lot of practical puppet effects. It's an awesome. I've done reviews of certain episodes of Farscape because they've gone into certain subjects, and then I'm just going to show you, yeah, why in a strange way. I'm going to tell you something here that's going to sound crazy. I was just talking about Nankazi, the reptilian who invented beer. That, in a strange way, I have less respect for Zionists than I do Alpha Draconian reptilians. Because I know what reptilians are, and they know what they are. They're not trying to gaslight anyone who finds out the truth about them. Um, Not all secret societies are mean to me. I made a video about Aleister Crowley a few years ago, and I was showing stuff off the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn's website, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn responded to my video called "We Are Not Reptilian Lizard People." And I never accused people of in secret societies of being reptilians because I found out actually what was causing a lot of the occult anomalies. It was demonic attachment, which could be just as bad. However, what I despise about Zionists is they are literally selling out their own human race. Um, they hijacked real Judaism, and we're going to be looking at proof for all this because I'm going to show you some interesting things here, specifically from real Jews who are talking about Zionists and how they're basically destroying Israel. But that was the plan all along. Albert Pike wrote about how they were going to start the state of Israel, the Zionist state of Israel after World War II. And in World War III, they were going to destroy it. And it's like, yeah, who are the real anti-Semites? But Zionists are getting called out for their bullshit. And I'm going to show you the reasons why they have all these quote-unquote AI fact checkers anymore, because they're so full of shit. So we're going to go through some things here, like disinformation that's going out about stuff that I researched, specifically reptilians and blood drinking, known as adrenochrome or blood libel. And they're trying to tell you all this shit is a conspiracy. In fact, we got a new word for conspiracy theorists. I saw a woman on the Sean Ryan show. She said we should stop calling people conspiracy theorists and start using the word speculative narratives, because that's what these people do. And nine times out of 10, they are right, which is why my information about reptilians has not changed. The only ones that are trying to lie to everyone and gaslight everyone, and who are the real conspiracy theorists, are Zionists. Because according to Zionists, if you don't believe with their psychopathic ways of thinking, you're either a anti-Semite, and we'll talk about the Ashkenazi Jews in a second because they're not even Semites. They're fake Jews. They're the synagogue of Satan in the book of Revelation, by the way. They absolutely despise Jesus because God forbid you, and I'm speaking as a Catholic, all right? My family, we do not support Christian Zionists. I'm telling you that as an Irish Catholic. We do not support the Mormon church or the Mormon quote-unquote temple. And if you know about the history of Jesus, he put an end to Jewish sacrifice. He became the ultimate sacrifice himself. I'm not going to retell the story of Jesus. You know what it is. However, I will say this in defense of all these bad movies coming out. Mel Gibson, as of August, it is August. This month, Mel Gibson starts pre-production for the next chapter of the Passion of the Christ movie called The Resurrection. I'll make some videos about it because I got Mel Gibson and the other guy that's helping him write the script. They already said when they make this movie, Satan himself, and he was referring to Zionists, obviously, because we know how they feel about Jesus and Catholics, that Satan himself was going to come after him for making this movie because it's going to expose what happened when Jesus was crucified and goes down into hell and confronts Lucifer. That's what the next movie is going to be about. The Resurrection. Yes, Mel Gibson is doing that. So, looking forward to that one. So we are drowning in information and starving for wisdom. First of all, where do I start here? First of all, I'm going to show you, Bill Maher had Roseanne, and this is why I love Roseanne. Not all people in Hollywood are scumbag Zionist pedophiles. And Roseanne isn't one of them. There's a reason why they kicked her off her own TV show and stole it and called it The Connors. That's a recurring theme that we have with a lot of these Zionist hacks. They steal pre-existing IPs, just like what happened with Halo, or House of the Dragon, or The Witcher, or The Wheels of Time, or any other big IP that they shit all over trying to put up. People call it woke messaging. It's more than just That's woke is not the word you think it is. It has nothing to do about strong women. I grew up watching strong women in sci-fi. Farscape has one of the best written strong women in modern sci-fi, and that is Aaron's son, played by Claudia Black. And she's awesome in that show. And she is a badass, but she's also a girl. And she falls in love with the main character, John Creighton, and their love story is pretty. You got to watch the show. But yeah. So no one's knocking strong women. It's all bullshit. But anyway, Roseanne brings this up on the Club Random podcast, and just listen to this. This really pissed me off.
Zohar cult?
No, they're Satan. They're Satan worshippers from Babylon. They're the reptiles.
Long Island?
Roseanne just told Bill Maher they're Satan worshippers from Babylon. They're the reptilians. This is why I love Roseanne. She's drunk on his shit. I'm not the only one day drinking. She's drinking wine with a straw and smoking cigarettes. I love Roseanne. I grew up watching Roseanne, the sitcom from the 80s, obviously. So, and then listen to how Bill responds to her talking about the Babylonian reptile people.
No, they're the reptile people, Bill.
Oh, the lizard people.
The reptiles.
Yes, I know that.
Now, what did I tell you before about anyone who calls reptilians quote-unquote lizard people? They're probably Zionist shills. And Bill Maher just proved me right. She calls them reptile people. She's correct. The Anunnaki are reptilian. We're going to be watching some videos of it in a second. And then he has to come back with oh, you mean the lizard people. But wait, there's more.
QAnon especially believes.
He blamed it on QAnon. Now, first of all, there is no fucking QAnon. The reason why they added the anon to Q, because AI algorithms could not pick up just the letter Q when people were talking about it. And that's why they added the anon after that, because I've already gotten community guideline strikes from YouTube for covering Q posts. Two, Q never put out a reptilian post. If you know anything about what the Q posts were about, they were specifically talking about something from a manual in our government called the Law of War. They were not talking about reptilians on the Q posts. I don't know where people got this shit from. But I noticed something else. There was another, this guy, the YouTube channel is called Esoterica, if you want to look it up. But this guy at Esoterica, he's a self-proclaimed Talmudist black magician. At least he ain't lying to anyone. I give him credit for that one. But he tried to say that the whole blood libel and child eating conspiracy was a QAnon conspiracy. And then something clicked on me. This is what the data centers are for. They're trying to rewrite the narrative. Now they're going to blame everything on Q when they never even read a fucking Q post. He's full of shit. By the way, Bill, I'm about to end your whole career right here because Q came out in 2016. This is a movie put out by Jim Henson in 1983, which actually shows a reptilian, Bill, sucking the life essence out of a podling for immortality. This is what the other YouTuber asked, the other sub asked me. What is that word you said? Transeugathia magic. Sucking the innocence out of small children for immortality. But, there's more to this. We're going to be covering a few subjects I've been kicked off YouTube for previously, so I need to be really careful about how I address this. This is another reason why I'm drinking a beer right now, believe it or not. It actually calms me down. I don't want to say the wrong things. And this cost Jim Henson his life. I was just talking about Farscape and Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son, making that TV show. There's another reason why I support that show. So yeah, the podling people are hooked up. They have their life essence drained from them. Where the reptilians get this liquid for immortality known as essence. Now, if you've seen the Dark Crystal movie, you realize that the whole plot involves they can no longer use the essence of the podlings. It's not working anymore. So they need something stronger, and that's when they abduct Kira, the Gelfling, and they suck her essence out of her. And but this goes into a much darker thing. Now, you've heard about Zionists in Israel. We're going to be getting back to. We're going to circle back to remember Jen Psaki? Oh, we're going to circle back to that. I made a whole video with the circle back thing. I made a music video out of it with Jen Psaki saying circle back. I'm going to show you one of the reasons why Zionists are calling for war with Turkey right now, who is a NATO ally. And then we're going to talk about I'm going to show you some other things that are going on here with Zionists just to prove to you how bad they're losing the narrative. But there is some light at the end of the tunnel. This was a video that I covered on, I believe it was my second YouTube channel, and I got a community guideline strike for this. I don't even know how this video is on YouTube. But this was a real video that came out of Turkey. It's in Turkish, but it has subtitles on it. And yes, you were looking at a small baby right there, what is called the raccoon eyes, sadly. That happens to children who are victims of transugothian magic. The same exact thing that happens to the podlings in the Dark Crystal. Yeah, like Bill Maher knows what the fuck he's talking about when he says, oh, it's just a Q conspiracy. He never read a Q post. He's been trained by Zionists to just react to anything that contains the child trafficking or blood libel or this practice, Kabbalistic black magic. Let's just call it what it is. To just blame it on Q. Yeah, blame it on the boogeyman. And this is where they're falling in. This is where they're losing the narrative. Because of how full of shit they are. Yeah, Bill Maher is not as smart as you might think. This is why I have a lot more respect for Roseanne. At least she told him straight up, it's the Babylonian reptilians, Bill. And she also told him in that video he's under MK Ultra mind control, which he tried. I never heard of MK Ultra mind control. I don't know what that is. I live in Hollywood, never saw any of that around. I've never been to the Kabbalah Center. Yeah, bullshit. So Turkey did this newscast, and what it involved was adrenochrome. Why are certain celebrities, they don't appear to age? And that's what this whole news segment was about. And they were talking about people like Ellen, whose set is strangely designed after Epstein Island. And we all know Ellen is a lady boy. Zionists love their lady boys. Then it was certain celebrities like Sandra Bullock and even Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth, how these people don't seem to age. And in this Turkish news segment, they went over it. They went over adrenochrome, sucking the life essence out of children for immortality. And this actually aired on a national news broadcast in Turkey. Everyone who covered this on YouTube, we all got community guideline strikes for this. This came out around the time Pizzagate was going on. So yeah, I guess this was another Q conspiracy, Bill. And yeah, sadly, that I don't like to show that. That is sad, but yeah, that is what happens, and it's graphic. What happened? That's called Panda. Then they're also going. They showed the Left Eye Club. You see that? Not only was the Turkish and I. Not only were they covering adrenochrome and transugothian magic, they didn't call it transugothian magic in the newscast because I only heard that term from one person, but the name's not important. The fact that it exists is. And then they were also showing all these other elitists with the black eyes, the Black Eye Club, and some other ritual going on with that. And yeah, they were covering adrenochrome. Adrenaline, right there. It's right in the translation. How they were keeping, and that was the practice that Jim Henson was showing in The Dark Crystal. Jim Henson was supposed to make a sequel to this movie. It never happened. He sadly died under strange circumstances when he put out the movie Witches. What was Witches about? That was about a witch covenant that was abducting and eating children. I have that movie on my hard drive also. And Bill, he was going to make a sequel to The Dark Crystal. The elite didn't want him to. I wonder why. We eventually, around 2016, Netflix made the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance reboot. We had one season come out. It was all right, even though they made the the Skeksis male and female in that show. I don't know why, but diversity. Yeah, it is fucking Netflix, whatever. Surprised one of them wasn't a lady boy. But by the way, reptilians are androgynous. There is no male or female in the sexes, which is why it was stupid in the first place. Although most of the Skeksis in the movie have male voices, whatever. Um, Strangely, Barack Obama becomes one of the board of directors at Netflix, and the second season is canceled. Yeah, nothing to see here with the Skeksis and them actually being real Alpha Draconians. And this is why I tell people that the eagle is the symbol of the Alpha Draconian Empire. They're avian. They are not 1,200-pound velociraptor lizards. They're not even lizards, which is why I said a lot of people that put out this information or knock off the reptilian conspiracy, just like I showed you with Bill Maher, call them, oh, it's the crazy lizard people that QAnon talked about. You're so full of shit, dude. Just shut up. You're not as smart as you think you are, Bill. And believe me, I don't drink as much alcohol as he does. This guy drinks hard liquor on his show all the time, but he does smoke weed. He's giving potheads a bad name. Me, I don't have any weed today, so if you want to support my channel, I'd appreciate it. I did take a few days off. It's never really good financially for me, but so anyway, yeah, Turkey went over there, and now we have I had to find this on Yandex, the Russian search it. But the video, it's on YouTube. It's been on here for 2 years, probably the Androidochrome on Turkish TV. And this is what blood libel is. Now, if you ask any Zionist what blood libel is, like I said, some of them will call it a Q conspiracy. So, I'm at ChatGTP here because I want to show you how full of shit these Zionists are. You think this is AI. This is not AI. First of all, a real artificial intelligence would not shill for Zionists. Period. So, I'm going to ask ChatGPT something. What is blood libel? I already know what answer we're going to get here. Blood libel is a false and anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that accuses Jewish people of kidnapping and murdering non-Jews, especially Christian children, to use their blood in religious rituals such as baking Passover matzah. The accusation has no basis in Jewish teachings or historical evidence. Yeah, it's just a conspiracy. Although I have these ancient wood carvings from Kabbalistic Jews sticking straws in a Christian girl and sucking the blood out of her while they're being overwatched by the El Molech. That's Molech, the Canaanite god of child sacrifice right there. Although we have accounts in the Old Testament of them sacrificing children to Molech. These are the Kabbalistic Zionist Jews. These are not the real Jews who follow the book of Moses, because once you start drinking human blood, you're going to hell. And if your God allows you to drink human blood, I don't know what fucking God you're worshiping, but it ain't the one that I worship. It's not the one that was represented by Jesus. No, Jesus did not teach people to go around drinking the blood of non-Christian people. And if you are another religion and you believe it gives you the right to murder people of another religion, you are lost. That is not the God that we follow in Catholicism. Like I said, we know about Christian Zionists, how full of shit they are. We know about the Protestant movement in Ireland, and the Protestant movement was to get Freemasonry into Ireland. Because you cannot be Catholic and a Freemason. You cannot be a Zionist and a Freemason. You can be a Mormon, you could be evangelical. These are not real Jews. I told people I was going to make a video about the 12 tribes of Israel and where did the other missing tribes go. Because the truth is, it puts a real big dent into the Zionist narrative. Yeah, where did those tribes go? Yeah, Zionists they're losing the narrative badly, and their bullshit's not working. So yeah, ChatGPT is full of shit. It's been programmed by Zionists. Blood libel goes back to medieval teachings and books. Even from the Vatican itself, they knew about this. Jews were kicked out of multiple ancient. Their temples were burned down for a reason. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the first temple. Um, Rome destroyed the second temple because Rome, after they crucified Jesus, the Zionists in Israel were being so obnoxious, and Rome just basically had it with the Jews in ancient Israel and burnt their fucking temple down. And then what do they do to this day in Israel? They just worship the remains of it, the Wailing Wall. I don't even know who's going to rebuild the third temple because that's where we get to the third part. Now, what better way to tell you about how bad Jews are being destroyed by Zionism than actual Jews themselves? And I watched this 19-minute video today. Now, these guys never actually say they're Jewish, but this guy's wearing a yarmulke, so I'm assuming he is. And they were defending real Jews in this video. Real Jews. Like, I could speak Yiddish. I was taught how to speak Yiddish from one of my Jewish friends. And I'm telling you right now, my Jewish friend does not engage in blood like Bell, does not think that he has to kill me because I'm Catholic and he was Jewish. We didn't even talk about religion when we hung out. He was one of my club friends. We used to go clubbing every week and do ecstasy together. Yeah, that was some of my Jewish friends. I dated a Jewish girl for a while. She was a lot of fun. Didn't matter. I'm not, women come in all different religions, shape, and sizes, and I like all of them. And specifically, I love belly dancers and Persian women. That's why, yeah, I'm not looking to destroy Iran. Save the belly dancers, right? Whatever. So these guys were talking about how psychotic Zionists have gotten within Israel, and Israel's collapsing from within now because it's the propaganda that the Zionists are putting out, and the way that the newer, younger generation within Israel have been brainwashed to the point where you have IDF soldiers making TikTok videos in the houses of dead Palestinians, holding up their children's toys and making fun of it. And like I said, if that's the God you serve, you need to really question your morals and what God you're serving. The reptilians themselves, I don't even find that offensive as Zionist IDF soldiers doing shit like that because reptilians know what they are and they're parasites. So I understand what they do. Their only source of power is having people worship them as gods. So, like I said, if all 8 billion people on Earth stopped worshiping reptilians or stopped engaging in black magic rituals, the Illuminati disappears. Reptilians have no more power anymore. They only have power because of these sick Kabbalists, people following the Kabbalah specifically. Not all Jews follow the Kabbalah or Babylonian Talmud. Secondly, Babylonian Talmud, going back to Roseanne on Bill Maher, was written by Babylonian reptilians. So if you believe what's in Talmud and you believe that it's real, you are literally indoctrinated by reptilians, period. And I'll gladly go on Bill Maher, drink and smoke some weed with him, and have a debate about that. He'll never let me on his show. He does. Besides, I'm not famous. Like, he would bring me on Club Random. I'd take up the invite, though, even if I had to travel to Hollywood to do it. And then it gets even more interesting. Now, in all honesty, I don't trust any one of these three. For all I know, all three of them are Freemason. Because I noticed a lot of Freemason are going around doing the podcast rounds talking about the Iran war and whatever. There's a much sinister agenda going on for that. It all basically equates to Greater Israel is all about rebuilding the third temple to usher in the Antichrist. And the Antichrist will be an androgynous reptilian shapeshifter. However, Mohammed Marandi, he's the Iranian professor, and he was on the Piers Morgan show with Alan Dershowitz, and he was calling out Alan Dershowitz bullshit on here. But he said something on here that I was really proud of. Yeah, he insulted him for being a pedophile. He insulted him for being on Epstein Island. He insulted him for being Epstein's lawyer defending pedophiles. But what he called him out for also was the fact that he was an Ashkenazi Jew. And Morandi on his Piers Morgan show, and Piers Morgan didn't even cut him off. He's like, let the guy speak because this is good. Basically said that Ashkenazi Jews are a bunch of Eastern Europeans, specifically Polish. He's talking about Netanyahu. Netanyahu is Polish. His real last name is Mikowski. That you have Polish people running Israel, killing Semites in Palestine, calling people who criticize them anti-Semites, while you are genociding Semites. And he called out the Ashkenazi Jews in this. And I was like, wow. And he called out the Ukrainians. I don't think he specifically called out the Khazarian Mafia, but he did call out Ukrainians, like Zelensky. That's the Khazarian Mafia. They're the other fake Jews talked about in the book of Revelation. And what is the biggest threat towards World War III right now is what's going on in Ukraine with Russia. That's the Khazarian Mafia. And what's going on in the Middle East, specifically with Israel and the Ashkenazi Jews, who aren't even Jewish. They're not Semitic. They are not from the Holy Land originally. They converted to Judaism and hijacked it. This is the protocols of the elders of Zion. I'm not going to go into the Zionist history here, but these are people that hijacked the Jewish religion, so they can gaslight the world into being God's chosen people, while their whole entire thing was to usher in the Antichrist. You see how Lucifer and the devil works now? That was the plan all along. Just like we have evangelicals hijacking Christianity. You have the same thing going on with Islam, with Sunni and Shiite Muslims. Not every Muslim thinks they have to kill every non-Muslim. A lot of the terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, I forget if it's either Sunni, I think they're Sunni. But the Sunni or Shiite division within Islam was created by Zionists. Specifically, people like the House of Saud, who are Zionists that control over Mecca right now. We have the same thing going on in Hinduism, the same thing going on in Buddhism. The CCP in China, that's an interesting case, but the CCP basically eradicated the philosophical religions in China, which was Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, because they want people worshiping the government and the CCP and not worshiping. They don't want communists don't want a country of philosophers, and they were philosophical religions. Although there is an interesting creation of religion that was in China for a very long time, and then you have Russia, which is uniquely Christian Orthodox, which is why Zionists hate them so much. Zionists, of all the Christians out there, they hate Catholics and Orthodox the worst. I wonder why. But people are waking up to Zionism and how it is the biggest threat on earth right now towards world peace. And these people are lying to themselves, specifically piece of shit Zionists like Alan Dershowitz, telling you we don't worship reptilians, we don't engage in blood libel, we don't follow the Kabbalah, we're not black magicians. Freemason are just a fraternity, and there's no doubt he's a Freemason. Piers Morgan, possibly also. There's a lot of Freemason in England. There's also a lot of Freemason in Scotland. There wasn't in Ireland. That's where you get the Protestant movement from. You have other countries like Turkey calling out the bullshit, specifically with child trafficking, blood libel, and adrenochrome. You got ChatGPT lying about blood libel. Why would an AI lie about blood libel? That blood libel goes all the way back to medieval times. I can pull up documents from medieval times where it was written about. It's just a conspiracy. It's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Yeah, written by Zionists who aren't even Semitic. And what do you think was going on at Epstein Island? Why did Epstein have a ranch in the middle of the desert and an island in the middle of the Caribbean? Oh, that wasn't to get rid of bodies after you drained all the blood out of them. Yeah, that's really why Epstein was on an island, because it's easy to hide bones in the ocean. This is why he had Zorro Ranch out in Nevada because it's easy to hide bodies in the middle of the desert. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's about all the wisdom I have for now. I'm gonna go eat some pork hot dogs. I didn't even drink a lot of this beer. I think I took 2 sips from it, but oh well. So, no, I'm not drunk. I don't even have enough beer in the fridge to get drunk right now. I think I got like 3 beers in there. But I am gonna go eat some pork hot dogs because the whole look. I'm not gonna knock you if you're kosher, whatever. You have your beliefs, but I am Irish, and we are. Well, I'm actually a Euro mutt. I have a few different ethnicities in me. One of them is quite surprising. Maybe I'll tell you what that one ethnicity is one day. But I identify as Irish Catholic. So if men can identify as women and claim that they can have babies nowadays, I can identify as whatever I want, right? So don't worry. Um, I did tell people I did want to make a lecture about Atlantis. Now, here's the thing with that. In that lecture, we're going to be talking about a lot of good things because I think I finally figured out what the civilization of Atlantis actually was and what it wasn't, and why Alpha Draconians attacked it in the first place. And the only clue I'm going to give you, it involves orgone, of all things. And if you know what orgone is, and the researcher Wilhelm Reich, and how the FDA shut him down. I was also asked in the comments, were you going to make and sell orgone on your YouTube channel before? Well, we'll also talk about that also. I decided not to. Because, quite honestly, I did some research in the companies that make real orgone, and it did not end well for them. The elites do not want people learning about orgone or how to make real orgone because it dispels demonic energy. And think about that one for a second. That is not what they want. These are the people trying to destroy Christianity and religion in general. These are the people training Chat GTP that Bloodlight Bell doesn't. That's just a Q conspiracy. Yeah, they do not want people learning the truth about orgone. But well, that's what we're going to be talking about when I do the lecture about Atlantis. Because I finally figured out what there was an ancient energy system on the planet at that time. The planet wasn't called Earth back then; it was Maldek. And I have a theory about what the pyramids were actually built for, and other ancient structures that they can't explain what they do. And so, oh, and this is the other thing throughout history. This is what I'm getting sick of. Zionists have hijacked Judaism, obviously, but when you hear about countries kicking Jewish people out, they weren't kicking the Jewish people out. Jews and Catholics and Muslims, we can all coexist together. Everyone knows that's bullshit. No, they kicked the Zionists out because Zionists are the ones eating children. They're the ones doing black magic rituals. They're the ones drinking adrenochrome. They're the ones that did these wood carvings of Talmudic rabbis sucking the blood out of a Christian girl. And then when you listen to idiots like Bill Maher, it's like, oh, that's just the Q conspiracy. Yeah, he never even read a fucking Q post. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. This is one of the reasons for the fact checking with AI. So ChatGPT is not artificial intelligence. It's Zionist reprogramming and rewriting of history. Why do you think whenever you look up information about reptilians, you're led to Freemason, Zionist shield, David Icke? I've been talking about him for a while. So, yes, I deleted a good amount of videos off my YouTube channel recently, and that was all the videos I made about Freemason. Why? Because I already see something that's coming on these platforms, and there's a reason why they're allowing anti-Semitism to or people to talk about it. Someone brought up a good point in the video recently. They're like, why are they allowing all these people talking about Zionism and anti-Semitism increasing on platforms now? You used to get banned for even talking about this. Problem, reaction, solution. They're trying to catch everyone doing it. And it's their plan for Agenda 2030 to hunt down all quote unquote anti-Semites and terrorists. And guess what? If you're Catholic, you're a terrorist. If you believe in blood libel, you're a terrorist. If you believe adrenochrome is real, you're a terrorist. Unless you join a secret society or follow the Kabbalah, then you're allowed to engage in these practices and you're safe in the New World Order. So this is what's happening in modern times. They can't control the narrative anymore. They're freaking out. This is why we have data centers being built. They're trying to rewrite history. You got idiots like Bill Maher telling Roseanne that the lizard people conspiracy is a fucking Q conspiracy. Are you serious, Bill? Because Zachariah Stitchin and David Icke started talking about reptilians in the 90s. Yeah, that's when Zachariah Stitchin first came around about the Anunnaki. That was the 90s. And David Icke published his first book, Children of the Matrix, in the 90s, when he said that Queen Elizabeth was a reptilian. So Bill Maher better get his head out of his ass. And yeah, don't try to gaslight me with reptilians being a Q conspiracy. I was around before Q was. I was posting about reptilians at Disclosed TV in 2010. 7 years before Q was even around, Bill. This is why I can't stand Zionists either. They lie. And I live by the Ten Commandments. One of them is thou shalt not lie. So when I hear people lying about shit right to people's faces, yeah, good luck with whatever God you're serving. I don't even find reptilians that vile. Yeah, they are a problem, but they know what they are. They're parasites. So it'd be mad at me like getting mad at a bedbug or a mosquito for sucking blood out of me. You know, this is what they do. It's in their DNA. I love my cats, but the truth is my cats are serial killers. Yeah. Try to be a mouse or a bug in my house. If you're moving, if it moves, I will kill it. That is the mantra of my cat. And I love my cats. But they hunt for no reason. They're not hungry. Macy and Dougal are not catching mice because they're hungry. They just play with them and they kill them. Yeah. Very low serial killers, but I know what they are. So that's why I love my cats. They don't try to gaslight me. Quite honestly, Zionists are a lot more vile than animals in the animal kingdom. You rarely see animals that will eat their own children in the animal kingdom. Or traffic their own children, like some of these Zionists did at Epstein Island. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And we're supposed to be the morally superior race on this planet. Well, not with Zionists in control. And Zionists are losing the narrative because we have Ashkenazi Jews being called out on Piers Morgan now, saying, you're not even a Jew, you're a fake Jew. You're a fake Jew killing Semites, calling people anti-Semitic, and you won't even go fight your own wars. You want to, yeah, they believe they're God's chosen people. What fucking God are you serving? Then you got real Jews, like these gentlemen, God bless them, talking about how Zionists are destroying Jewish values and putting Jewish people in more danger worldwide. There are Jews that believe they're supposed to be living in exile until the return of Mashiach, the Messiah, that the state of Israel shouldn't even exist. And then you have these gentlemen talking about Israel itself as a lost cause because all the highly intelligent people within Israel, doctors, engineers, they're fleeing Israel because they don't want to be, they don't like Zionists. And they see the danger they're being put in with the psychopathic people running that country. And the psychopaths running Israel right now are not real Jews. Like Morandi called out, they're Ashkenazi Jews. They're Polish. They're Polish, Ukrainian, German. Now, anyone could convert to Judaism, just like anyone can convert to Hinduism, Catholicism, or Muslim. That's not what we're talking about here. They don't follow the Book of Moses. They don't follow the Ten Commandments. Love thy neighbor. Yeah. Try to tell a Zionist love thy neighbor as they're genociding them, and they're making TikTok videos, making fucking jokes about it. That was the other thing they were talking about in this video. How psychopathic the IDF has become. They're actually like they enjoy killing Palestinians. And if you enjoy killing other humans, you are a psychopath. You're a serial killer. And you're going straight to hell. And you're going to find out that the God that told you, I don't even think, but I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. And you know who I think might put an end to Zionists at the end of the day? The Illuminati themselves. Because I believe, I study organized crime, La Cosa Nostra, 1% motorcycle clubs, the cartels in Mexico. When you have people that become a threat for the organization, they deal with their own when people become too out of line. And I think Zionists are becoming too out of line. And if anyone's going to deal with them, I believe it's going to be the reptilians themselves and the real Illuminati, people you don't see in the public face. I'm not talking about Netanyahu, Queen. I'm talking about the real Illuminati who are in their ancient castles all throughout Europe, the pharaohic bloodlines who you don't see on TV. They're not in the public. They're not on Facebook. They're not on TikTok. They're not on CBS News. They don't do news podcasts. These are the elite, the ones you don't even know about. I could see them putting an end to Zionists because of how psychopathic, and they are becoming a threat to their main goal, which is the New World Order. Because there's still 8 billion people on this planet. How long are you going to get away with a small group of Zionists within the Jewish population, Israel, telling the other 8 billion people on earth that you're Goyim, you're Amalek, we can kill you, our God said so, and people are going to say, no, we got to put an end to this bullshit. And that's what they were talking about in this video, where the world's going to turn on them. Not on the Jewish people, on Zionists. Now, at the end of the day, you hear how evangelical Christians will tell you, we need to support the Jews. Well, guess what? I am supporting the Jews. What do you think I'm telling you for in the video? I'm trying to protect the real Jews from Zionists. Like my friends that were Jewish. Like the Jewish girl I dated many years ago. Not these fucking psychopath Zionists who are people have had it with their shit. They could try to gaslight the world. They could train ChatGPT all they want, but everything is anti-Semitic when you criticize Zionists. Yeah, this is bullshit. Look, they even tell you in this the myth first emerged in medieval Europe. They're talking about Blood Libel right there. Yo, it was just a conspiracy that was started in medieval Europe. Please, I mean, come on, ChatGPT can't even lie good. And again, this is the real reason why Zionists want to invade Turkey next. Turkey's making newscasts about child trafficking and adrenochrome and the Black Eye Club. You got Bill Maher telling Roseanne that the Babylonian reptilians, oh, that's just a QAnon conspiracy about lizard people. Bill, show me the fucking Q post where Q mentioned lizard people or reptilians. You never even saw a Q post. You got your fucking Zionist talking points at the Kabbalah Center. And I could tell why Roseanne was drunk when she was on the podcast with him, because she was just calling out his bullshit left and right. That's what I like about Roseanne. She don't take shit. That's a strong woman. Here, take a note, millennials. That's what a strong, independent woman is. Roseanne is a strong, independent woman. Not your fucking shit you've been putting in movies and TV shows. And then we got real Jews talking about how Zionists have destroyed their culture and they're the biggest rise of anti-Semitism worldwide. And now you got Iranians calling out the Ashkenazi Jews. Anyway, it's off my rant. Like I said, I'm going to go eat some pork hot dogs. I haven't hearted comments in a few days. I'm still here. Anyone want to support the channel and buy this Catholic Goyim some marijuana? That'd be awesome. PayPal, Cash App, Vemno's all in the description. Interesting. I was just talking about the dark crystal, and someone leaves a comment about the dark crystal. That is called synchronicity. Interesting. 777. Seven's my lucky number. My date of birth is 7/27/1977. Yeah, the reactions I get when people ask me about like what my birthday is, they're like, that's a lot of sevens. Yeah, seven's my lucky number. Go figure. Anyway, any questions or comments, leave them below. God bless and take care.